welcome to Cars and Health Bars. On today's episode, we have with us Brian Kemble.
Hello.
Hey Brian, how's it going?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing all right. So we kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about, you've been drag racing for a long time. What's the racing scene been like, from whenever you started to what it is currently?
In this part of the country, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
It'll have a year or two where it's big, and it'll die off for a little while. Then it comes back. And currently it's in kind of a, if you ask my opinion, it's in a low state right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
You got a few people that still do it, but it's nothing like what it was, say, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. Sure.
But it'll come back around. You just got to be ready when it does.
Yeah.
I think that's due to people not having money or builds breaking, maybe.
No, I think it's just natural. Everybody does it for a while, and you get tired of it. It's a second job, and then it goes away, and then you kind of get your batteries charged back up, and you go again.
Yeah. It's an expensive hobby, especially if you ain't winning races. You're kind of just losing money to go faster.
Yep. It is definitely a hobby. Anything that's a hobby costs you a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the local scene, first I wanted to really hit on what you kind of got going as far as your builds go. Just Kemble racing in general. What you guys got going on?
I've got my wife's car, that 2002 orange Camaro, and it's more of just drive it around car. Turbocharged 6-liter.
What's that get down at? 8?
We never have actually ran the car at the drag strip all out. The fastest been on the 8th mile of the track was 620 at 117, I think.
Wow.
And it actually blew up at the 400-foot mark that day.
So,
it didn't blow up. It bent 2 rods, and I let out of it.
Yeah.
The car has been on a draggy on the street without giving too much information away. It's been low 9s.
Yeah.
Bare asphalts. The car don't run bad, and we still drive it everywhere. It's pretty comfortable.
Still can take the kids out.
Yeah, I can put 4 people in. We can go to Gatlinburg right now if you want to.
Yeah.
Gets pretty decent mileage. It's got a 480E and a 350 gear, so it cruises pretty nice.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's the main focus, more or less, is keeping it on the road and keeping it going. Which it's got a lot of good parts in it, so it rarely ever breaks. Which I like the stock bottom end stuff, so we keep putting junkyard 6-liters in it, and I get greedy and hurt them. Then I just put another one in it. So
the thing about those 6-liters is they're at every junkyard.
Yeah, we don't have no problem picking them up. Which everything behind the motor is really good stuff, really stout. We never had any problems with any of that stuff. It's always an engine problem, and like I say, it's not the engines. They do fine. It's literally me getting greedy.
Yeah. I think that's with a lot of builds. It's just the driver gets greedy for power. And, especially these YouTube guys, they get a lot of flack for blowing up a build, and then they're on a headhunt. Their fans are looking for the engine builder. For all this, and it's the driver. It's always the driver pushing it past.
That's the person doing the tuning and stuff. Which I can run around on low boost in that car and never hurt it, but it's never going to be that fun to drive.
Yeah.
There's an amazing difference from, say, normally right around about 9 pounds of boost. From 9 to 22, 23, 24 is an amazing difference. 23 to 28 is even that much more of a difference. So you get tired of running around, say, low boost, and you want to go make a number real quick, and you turn it up. You're taking that chance.
Yeah.
Other than her car, though, like I say, there's nothing really in the works for it right now. Just keep it on the road.
Yeah.
We just recently purchased a 72 Nova SS. It's been off the road since 96.
Wow.
And it's not a real nice car, but it's not super rough either. And it'll be LS swapped with a T56 and some other stuff. But
oh, man, that's exciting.
Yeah, just to play around with it.
Kind of same plans as an orange car, I'd say.
Roughly, eventually, yeah. Just along the same lines. But I do want to keep this one a manual of some sort. I acquired a Muncie M20 transmission, was a 4-speed, and we kind of kicked it around a little bit, and that's not going to work for us, what we want to do. The car's got 456 or 488 gears, so I don't want to be cruising down the interstate at 60, 4,000 RPMs. I'd like to be able to jump in and go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that car's it's a factory AC car, factory power brakes, factory power steering, it's got every option. So I believe, if we make the air work on it and, 600-700 horsepower at the tire, it ought to be a pretty fun driver.
Yeah, that's what I like about cars. A lot of these older guys, they got into just building drag cars. But, this, like your generation and bleeding into ours, we like to build cars that we can get down, put a good track time, and also go mess
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about maximum ET gain, which everybody likes going fast.
Yeah.
And everybody likes trying to increase the number.
Right.
Or decrease the number. But I prefer something I can jump in and go to Rural King and pick up some chicken feed.
Yeah.
And then go run a decent pass that night.
While we're on the topic of kind of driving a drag streetcar, if there was ever like, have you seen the drag and drive events that they have? Would you be interested in doing something like that if it was in our area?
We had talked about going and doing Midwest drags, which starts out of Edgewater, and I've actually been to it. I didn't compete, but I was there.
Yeah.
And yes, I most definitely would do a drag and drive event.
Yeah, that's something we're kind of trying to ask all our car guests if they'd be interested in something like that. Maybe at some point we could throw something together. But yeah, I always thought the concept of drag and drive is like such a fun thing.
It is.
It's like a vacation for car guys. We get to go to all these different tracks. We're all around like-minded people.
Yep.
A lot of fun.
There's a ton of them now. That's when it started off. Of course, you had Drag Week, and now you got. I think there's around 20 of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the fastest growing trend in motorsports.
I just find it crazy that nobody's tried to do our area yet. With Beach Bend, you've got up in Martinsburg, you got a track up there. It's like we got so many tracks that like a few hours within each other. Seems like a no-brainer to have one in our area.
Yeah, it's. I don't know why it was kind of picked over, but it was.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, but except for here, seems like.
Yeah.
And there's so much motorsports stuff around here. You got NCM, Beach Bend.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to talk about how I ran into you is knowing about the origin of we got a couple local Vette Carts running around, and you're just kind of the Vette Cart guy. Of Bowling Green.
Yeah, I kind of started that trend around here, I guess.
So what kind of got you into building Vette Carts? If you could break that down for me.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, C5 Corvettes, they're fun.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the guys that likes pristine ones with 10,000 miles in the garage. I like beat up ones.
Yes,
I like finding one that I can do whatever I want to in. And a Vette Cart just kind of played right into that. And they're just fun. They're fun to ride around in.
Get a lot of attention for sure.
They do. Sometimes you're just trying to stop and get $20 in gas. You want to get back on the road, and you're at the gas station for an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, which is cool because everybody likes enjoying it and stuff. That's nice, but at times though, it's like I'm trying to go. I got to go. I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
But they're fun. They're just a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then too, I mean, I guess there's a small part of me that maybe likes irritating purists a little bit. So they don't like them. They don't like them at all.
I'm sure these older guys just turn their nose up.
Well, but
C5 all tore apart.
I try to explain to them all the body parts and stuff off of Vette Carts go to keep another car alive.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it weren't for those body parts being freed up, one of your really nice cars might not be drivable, salvageable, because parts are so hard to come by and parts are so high. A lot of people can't afford them.
Yeah.
So I think they're cool. They're fun.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, there's more of them popping up around here, and that's one reason why I just sold my 2002 Z06 car. It was about 50% complete, and I hate to say they've kind of lost their luster a little bit, maybe to me. There's so many of them running around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Which I had the only one around here for a long time, and I might have been okay with one or two, but there's more of them popping up day by day. So
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, I've never seen one before.
yeah, that's a fun old car. That car's awesome.
It's like 2018.
Yeah, and people, I don't know, people would be like, well, I wish I could drive it, and I'd throw them the keys, and they're like, whoa. I'm like, no, drive it, seriously, I don't care. Take it for a ride. And that was always one of the funnest parts about that car, because everybody's like, oh, why don't you make more power? Which it made 487 on the LS1 at the rear tire on MCR's dyno.
Yeah.
And I, honest to goodness, didn't want any more. That's all it needed, because it was a blast to drive. You literally could let other people drive it, and they wouldn't kill themselves if they were somewhat responsible.
Yeah.
If you'd made that car have 650, 700, 800, 900,000.
Trans probably wouldn't have liked it.
Well, that, and then you couldn't let people enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to the part where you're going to start breaking parts, and then it's like, well, no, I can't let you drive it because the thing's, too wicked.
Yeah.
And I didn't want no part of that.
That is one thing that I like a lot about how you do cars is like you're so humble and like, all your cars are just junk to you, and it's just like Especially with a lot of the guys we have local, they're like so stuck up. And it's hard to even talk to somebody like that so stuck up about their build.
All my stuff is junk. It's all junk.
I think the first time I saw the catfish car, there was a Starbucks cup sitting in the engine bay.
Oh, I don't doubt it a bit. Yeah.
I was like, this is Brian Kemble written all over it.
Yeah, that's which that car there, people don't believe it. The engine in that car right now, I bought it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. At one time, I had a bunch of them on standby, and I gave $400 for that long block, and I sold the heads off of it for $100. So I got $300 in the short block, which I did fold up 2 rods in it a year or two ago, and now it's got pistons and rods from 2 different motors. It's got the bearings out of the original motor that were in bent rods. So I mean, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Everybody thinks I got high dollar stuff. A bunch of my stuff really is junk. It's junk. It's stuff that nobody else wanted. That Vette Cart that we were just discussing a minute ago, I got a really good offer on the LS1 that was in it, and I sold it. And the only motor I had available at that time was a 300,000 mile 4.8, and I shoved a cheap camshaft in it, put it in that car, and it made 478 rear wheel horsepower on MCR's dyno. A little softer down low, but not terrible. But I mean, that motor has literally, when I owned the car, it was always getting beat on. I mean, 80 mile per hour burnouts on the interstate's fun. I did a first through third gear rev limiter burnout at LS Fest in the photo booth. We destroyed a brand new set of tires in one day running around Glasgow. We just kept it on the limiter in first and second and third gear, just doing burnouts, donuts, whatever you can think of. And that motor never once gave any problem whatsoever. And it's literal junk. I think I got it for like $100. Wow. It had rust in the cylinder walls and some other stuff. And that motor's still hanging in there, doing great.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on some of this stuff to go fast and or have a bunch of fun.
Yeah, you don't need name brand parts for everything, you know.
And the engine, more often than not, keeping it simple is the best way to go. If you're talking LS stuff and newer, there's no sense. Unless you have some lofty horsepower goal or trying to chase a ET, stock Gen 4 parts will get you a long way, and they take
like
a beating.
Wheel,
oh, that's no problem at all. No sweat. The people that want to spend all kinds of money and their stuff sits on jack stands for years.
This car.
You could have been out having a blast with stock stuff. And I mean, if you bend a rod, just take it apart, put another one in there. It's no big deal. You can buy a rod on eBay right now for $26.
Yeah.
It comes with a bearing too.
You can probably get a whole set off someone who does a 180 for $100.
$100 to $150.
Yeah, I bought all forged internals for my car. I'm kind of wishing I stayed stock.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad deal to do that. But at the same time, if it's going to mean sitting there for a long time, it's a much better idea just to shove a motor in there and go have a blast. I mean, Facebook Marketplace is littered with $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 LS motors. If you hurt one, it's not the end of the world. Half a day you're back in business. So.
All right, so I don't know what we got and what we didn't get, but Jordan, you were wanting to talk about something about the junkyard king, the king.
Yeah, I'd consider you like the junkyard LS guy around here, kind of. You just seem to have more of the cooler builds that kind of originate with, more of the junkyard parts.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were getting at before is, you don't have to buy all the expensive parts.
I don't know if anybody else around here really does the same way I do. If they do, I don't know them.
I would say Brandon, he might be kind of like that.
Well, there's people that kind of do it, that kind of play into the junk stuff, but at the same time, how many people it's got a 1,000 rear wheel horsepower car that's like used stock stuff? Not many.
Definitely not.
And I'm not saying it makes 1,000 rear wheel horsepower. I'm not saying that, but it's gotten close by the number. It's gotten close by the numbers a few times. I'll be honest with you. It all started years and years and years. I started hot rodding when I was like 14 years old, and I never had a whole lot of money to spend on really nice stuff. So I had to make what I had work. And there's people like, oh, this is junk. It'll never work.
I think that's kind of the birth of hot rodding in general.
It is. It is. Other people will be like, well, that'll never work. You shouldn't even do it. Well, tell me why it won't work.
Yeah. That kinda
Have you
makes
tried
me
it?
do more.
You know, they're the bottom of the page guy. They're just going straight to the most expensive part.
Yeah.
So my junk stuff won't work, and then you ask them why it won't work, and they can't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, why won't it work? And then you do it, and they're like, "Well, I didn't think that would work." Well, I didn't have that. I didn't have that mentality going into it. I wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at if this don't work, it's all I can afford.
Yeah.
So we got to make it work.
Yeah, I definitely think some people got their nose stuck up because they got expensive parts or partnerships with people, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's not everybody's gonna get along though. I mean you got different different personality traits out there.
Yeah.
I like for everybody to have fun and get along as much as possible.
Kind of the goal, really, if you think about it, just to have fun.
Nothing I have is worth looking down on anybody else because, I mean, I tell you a story. Back 20-some years ago, I had a 80, I don't remember what year it was, a Plymouth Sundance 2.2 automatic two-door that made like 120 horsepower. And people probably thought I was crazy, but I was all the time trying to make it faster.
Yeah.
Why? Just because that's what I do. So, I mean, for me to look down on somebody else that might have something lesser than what I have, which would be a major feat, no, because I was there. I might have even been lower than that guy, to tell you the truth. Yeah. Like, say, a Pontiac or a Plymouth Sundance with, I don't know, 300,000 miles on it trying to run a tenth faster on no budget. So, there's no sense in looking down on anybody.
Yeah, I think some people could kind of take away from that, you know. It's maybe not a competition.
Well, everybody's got the same. I don't know. You go to like a Cars and Coffee. Everybody there has a common interest.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it be going faster, whether it be getting lower, best paint, stereo, whatever. It still revolves around cars.
Yeah.
You're all there with a common interest. Why you want to be mean to them or less than friendly anyway? I won't say mean. You shouldn't be. They're there for the same thing you are.
That is something I want to talk about too. Good transition to Cars and Coffee. They're starting to it's like they were never a thing like 2-3 years ago, and it's like now it's like there's one every Saturday, you know.
Yeah, we used to have a decent one at Bowling Green a long time ago, but then it died off. And again, that goes back to that kind of it just comes and goes in spurts. And then people weren't putting in the time trying to advertise or spread the word or anything, and that kind of really was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
But now you got people that will, and but they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, I remember like when I first started driving, it was like maybe once a month, you know, the Nashville would be going on, and we'd all go there. But now it's like you got the Cave City, Bowling Green, Nashville, you got everywhere around.
Yeah, Lexington's got a good one.
I've never been to that
Oak Grove's got a good one at times.
Wow, I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, I've been to Oak Grove. It's over at the casino. It's a pretty fun time. Nashville Cars and Coffee's cool.
Yeah, I like the Speedway having it now.
Well, I haven't been there since the Speedway's got it, but I like the fact that I kind of went with a preconceived notion that the Titans people were going to be there with multi-million-dollar cars and they'd get all the attention. Well, no, it's not that way.
No,
It's not that way at all. I mean, they draw a crowd, but
that's what we saw. Like there'd be a guy would snap a picture of a Lambo, and then he'd just be on his way. He'd go check out this 74 Bronco. They kind
of get a little attention, but then you walk over there and, like you said, just something random.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are there 300 people around this car? And it happens that way, but it's cool. It's like that though, because like I say, the first time I went, big misunderstanding on my part. I thought it was going to be like I got to go over and look at these multi-million-dollar cars. Which first time I went, taking a vehicle of my own was the Vette Cart. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can only imagine 10,000 people surrounding it. And I'm like, why are you overlooking at this junk when there's like I don't even know what it was. I don't know what all of them were, but you should be over there checking those out.
It's nice to see people still respect, like, you know, builds. They're not just all worried about the high dollar cars. They respect, you know, people putting builds together. You know, it's good to see that still.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the more expensive cars you don't see as many builds with. There definitely are some like local I can think of, but it's definitely less than like let's say a Camaro or Mustang.
They're not relatable to most people.
Yeah, because most people just don't know about them really.
Well, I mean, that's cool. You drove up in your $250,000 sports car. How many people can go buy that $250,000 sports car?
True.
Most people can buy that third gen sitting there.
Yeah.
If they want one, they can probably buy one.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's more relatable than a $500,000 car is.
Yeah, because people will see that car on Marketplace, and then they'll think, oh my God, I could do the same thing that dude did at that car show.
Yep. Or I liked he did this, and matter of fact, I like that style of car and didn't even know I did. So.
Yeah, it definitely grew on me.
Yep. I like third gens.
Yeah.
Josh, we need to talk about you not liking fourth gens too much.
I don't know. That might be a summer. That might be a summer interview kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. They are growing on me just because they are so affordable, and it's like I could have something.
Great platform.
I don't know. I hated the third gen just as much as the fourth gen, but it really grew on me after a while. I don't know if it's just owning one or what kind of put that on me.
They're pretty aerodynamic. I mean, they're a good platform.
Yeah.
Good suspension.
The only thing wrong with the F bodies is weight and torque arms. I mean, other than that,
unibody kind of sucks too if you ever get.
Yeah. That's like Summer's orange car. It weighs, with me in it and a full tank of gas, it's approaching 3,800 pounds.
Oh wow.
So I mean, if I were to put her same engine package, same everything in a Fox body that weighs 2,900 pounds,
you can imagine.
I mean that's a pretty substantial difference.
Yeah.
So the weight kind of sucks, but they are kind of affordable. Recently, in the last couple of years, they kind of took off like a rocket, like most cars did.
Yeah.
But they haven't really settled back down yet. They're still climbing.
Yeah.
You take fourth gen WS6 cars.
Yeah, they stay up there.
I mean, they're just outrageous.
That was one of my dream cars for the longest, but I just couldn't afford one. I was like, I'll just get a fifth gen over that.
I had a silver 02, that WS6 car. It was a fun car.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it was fun. It was pretty much all stock. But they're fun. They're nice cars. Like I said, the best thing about them is it's already got LS in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they work pretty decent suspension wise, and I mean you can buy anything for it you want. So it's not like anything's obsolete for it or anything.
No, there's definitely a good following for them. So.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why you see so many LS builds, not as many Coyote. I mean, there is support for Coyote, but not near as much as there is for LS.
The Coyote stuff will come along here in about the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because the prices are just now starting to kind of get to where most everybody can afford it.
We're seeing Gen 1 short blocks going for as much as cheaper than Gen 5 LTs.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah, and they're starting. I mean, they've snuck their ways into the F-150, so you're going to see them more in junkyards.
Well, you got the truck motors that are going for next to nothing, kind of like an LS motor. So once that starts happening, it's natural. It's natural.
Rod crank pistons. I mean, they're already forged internals.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a great bottom end to start with. You can probably make it 1,300 on that bottom end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just technology. They're very technically advanced.
They're very volumetric efficient.
Yeah.
They're definitely a lot better than LS. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but
Well,
the
then,
LT is more the competitor in that aspect, I'd say.
well, one thing that helped all the newer engines too is the 6-speed, 8-speed, 10 speeds.
Yeah.
I mean, if the next generation, whatever you want to call it, if the next Chevrolet generation of engine or the next Ford generation, if it comes out with a 12 or 14 speed, it could make the same power.
Yeah.
It's naturally going to perform better.
And they'll stay in the power band better.
You know, you take my car or Summer's car with a 480E, you got 3 gears to make things happen.
Yeah.
That's some pretty big splits compared to a 10 speed.
For sure.
So I mean, I'd kill to have a 10 speed in her car. It'd be a blast.
That would be awesome. The trans tuning costs so much
It
for
is.
10 speeds.
Yeah.
And really, any of the newer engines, they cost a lot.
And then they make a few small mistakes and you just smoked it and got to start over again.
You know how much a C8 costs to unlock and tune?
No, I don't.
It's over $2,000.
I know the
That's
trucks.
before dyno tuning.
I know the trucks when they first come out, it was like $2,400 or $2,500 just for the credits,
Yeah, that's how much C8s
or just to unlock the computer. It's nuts.
GM finally made it where you can do that now. So I'm kind of interested to see, you know, they invested so much money into that Generation 6 small block they were talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it's going to take for HP tuners to get a hold to that.
It'll be probably pretty quick.
Think so?
Oh, yeah. Probably so.
I'm wondering when we're going to see that. I'm wondering if when they bring the Camaro back is when they're going to bring Gen 6. I'd say the Corvette will get it first.
Well, I mean, the word on the internet the past couple of weeks is the Camaro's coming back as an all-EV vehicle.
I wouldn't doubt it. The Mustangs.
You know, but the problem is your sales numbers for internal combustion engines weren't that great. That's why you're talking about ending the platform. You're going to make it cost more and put an electric motor in it, and you think people are going to buy it then?
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with continuing the Camaro name at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, I'm not a huge 5th and 6th gen person.
Yeah.
They're nice cars. I'm not a huge 5th and 6th gen person. Most 6th gen people are like, if you don't have a 6th gen, you suck.
Yeah,
You're a terrible person.
They're nice platforms.
And I'm like, well, you don't even have the nicest Camaro at all. And of course, they think they do, or a lot of them do.
Well, they're brand new. I mean,
then they're like, well, you just think 4th gens. I'm not even talking about 4th gens.
Yeah.
I'm a 2nd gen person myself. 70 to 73. You can't beat that. Sorry. A lot of people think I'm crazy. 67 through 69 is a nice car, and I would love to have one. My actual favorite would be 70 through 73.
I like the Firebirds.
Those are cool in those years too. So 6th gen people are like, we got the baddest Camaros ever made. No, you don't. No, not even close. It'll never be as timeless as like a split bumper will be.
Yeah, I mean.
You think people in 30 years are gonna be like, wow, look at that 2019 1LE car? No, they're gonna be like, oh, it's a 2019 1LE car.
Their value goes down every year while the split bumper's staying right.
But 30 years from now, let a split bumper pull up and they'll be like, holy, that's a 1971 split bumper or whatever. So this is not the same. They don't make cars like that anymore, though. They don't make cars that hold people's interest for 100 years.
Like a Tesla, and there's no design in there. It's just a blank canvas,
Well, but they got the performance on their side.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
That's one thing that they've got cornered very well.
For a street car, a Tesla's hard to beat, really.
Well, if they could ever get the range better, that's the only problem. Or if they could get the charging times down. I don't know which is going to come first, but EV, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not anti-EV at all. If you want one, buy one.
Yeah, I agree.
But I see some flaws in it, range being one.
Fire's hard to put out.
Yeah, just the environment, period.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that EV is better for the environment than internal combustion is.
And stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot goes into that. Charging times.
The power grid, I don't think it support a full EV swap.
That's another problem too. If we gave everybody in the country an EV in their driveway right now, I don't think any of us have electricity. I don't think any of us have lights on our house.
No, probably not.
They have their place.
It's kind of funny you bring that up. I was reading some comments this morning of Tesla, perform well on the drag strip, and a guy pointed out, he's like, yeah, they appeal to certain crowds because I'm along with a lot of people. You see a Tesla pull up to drag strip, you know what's going to happen. It's going to run low nines, around that. If you see a car like Summer's car pull up, it's either going to run a 14 or it's going to go real fast. And
Could.
It's worth watching.
So. Which the last quarter mile pass I made in her car was here about, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was 42% throttle the whole way down the drag strip. By design. It went 10:25 or 10:28 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't when the boards are on at the drag strip, I like to keep it somewhat anonymous. I just don't want everybody to know. Not that I'm a grudge racer, not that I'm some no time person. It's just I don't want everybody knowing exactly what it runs.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to know.
And then plus two, just to be quite honest about it, her car has zero of the safety stuff to go that fast.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't want to put the track in that position.
Yeah.
They have rules they got to abide by for insurance reasons and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't like being that guy that makes them come over and tell me to quit.
Yeah.
I know better. I know the rules. And, I can't go out there and run, theoretically, if it would run an 8-second pass, I can't go out there and run an 8-second pass wearing a T-shirt and a pair of cargo shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a factory seatbelt, no roll bar, no nothing. I can't be that guy.
I've heard that before too. People be like, "Yeah, it might run that fast, but I'm gonna let the track tell me, if I need to decide." Like, I'm putting the track in that position, man. That's terrible.
They're here for you at the end of the day.
Plus two. You're at the drag strip, concrete walls on both sides, pretty safe environment. But there's got to be something. I've been 149 miles an hour in her car at Beach Bend. Mm-hmm. There has to be something in somebody's mind at some point that says this is probably unsafe.
Yeah.
A tire goes down.
Oh yeah.
Hit something at the end of the track at the traps, and you lose control of the car. 149 miles an hour.
Could go anywhere.
3,800-pound car.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of energy. It's got to go somewhere. Yeah. I like walking, and I like being here. So.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which I didn't know I was going to go that fast that day. That I went 149. But I don't know. You got to be safe about this stuff too. At the same time.
Yeah.
Which I'll make a hit out here on the street right now, 8th mile, which it doesn't really bother me that much. But you get much past the quarter mile or much past the 8th out here on the street, I start kind of shy away from it.
Yeah.
It's too much speed.
Mm-hmm. where can people kind of check you guys out? You know, where you're racing at and social media, any of that good stuff. If they want to come out and see Summer's car run.
Well, Summer's Car has an Instagram page.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not.
No, go for it. Absolutely.
Well, it's Some Bitch is what it is.
Yep.
It's SOM_BICH.
Mm-hmm.
That way kids can spell it and don't get in trouble. And, of course, on Facebook, Brian Kemble and Summer Kemble. She spells her name weird. It's SOMER.
Okay.
It's not SUMMER. Just to throw it out there. That's the two best places, really, Facebook and Instagram. Which Instagram is just more or less pictures of it and events we've been to and such and so forth. Maybe parts of, like, we broke something and here's what we broke.
Yeah.
Facebook generally is the main one. Lord, we're out all the time. If a person just come up and talk to us, be the best way to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I will say, from coming from a person who hasn't known you very long, you're a very approachable person.
Oh yeah, we like to try to get along with everybody, and I mean, the amount of people that I have daily that message wanting to know how this works or where to get this, I never really intended that to happen.
Yeah.
It was strictly just being nice people and trying to help them, and it almost turned into. Sometimes I turn Messenger off.
Yeah.
I just turn it off for a couple of days. I'm like, I can't do it no more. I got to take a break.
Yeah, I think Matt gets that way sometimes.
I mean, sometimes it's just like, I'd love to help you all, but I need a couple of days for myself.
Yeah.
Which in no way am I saying don't try to talk to me or anything. That's not that whatsoever. But most of the people understand. They're like, oh, I messaged you the other day, and they're like, you had to take a couple of days off. Yeah, I did. Just needed a couple of days.
Have you ever thought about starting like a YouTube page or anything, you know?
We actually talked about that a million times. I actually started a YouTube channel, I don't know, 12, 14, however long YouTube's been around.
Yeah.
And I was actually going around to demolition derbies of all things, video and demolition derbies, putting them up. And actually was making money at it.
Wow.
And I just quit. It just got to be like a job. I just quit.
Yeah.
Which I do put some modern day stuff on there, like us fooling with cars and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, as far as full-time YouTube content creator, probably not.
Yeah, I agree.
I like making reels on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun 'cause it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
30 seconds of editing and get 100,000 views. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So that's probably more fun. It doesn't take near as much effort. I don't have a whole lot of free time. That's one of my major problems. I'm either at work or doing something else to try to make more money, and the free time these days is pretty thin.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard to keep our projects going in the right direction, or pretty much do anything else, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I mean, every little bit of time you got to really be wise with it. Use it the best you can.
Gotta live in the moment there.
Yeah. When I leave here, I'm going to rebuild a carburetor on a 1972 Nova. So
That's fun.
we put so I got it with no fuel pump, and put a fuel pump on it, and immediately blowed every seal in the carburetor.
Oh my God.
Which again, it's been sitting since 1996. So, yep.
OEM car?
No, it's actually a hollow replacement. It's junk.
4160.
No. It's actually a 4264. So it is a Rochester Quadrajet replacement.
Okay.
So it's spread bore. The little primaries are like 3/4 of an inch, and the secondaries are like 2 inch. So it's a weird. It looks like
The Quadrajets.
well, it looks like you took a Quadrajet and a Holly and just kind of mashed them together. Is what it looks like. And it's poor old thing. It's not a real good choice. But that'll be leaving. So
Drill bit, 3/16 drill bit too.
we're gonna put all new seals stuff. I just want to drive the car with the old motor in it a couple of times, just to get it out and drive it a little bit. And make sure I'm gonna sell it to somebody else, so I need to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
And plus two, I just want to get out and drive it.
Old cars are so fun to drive.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, it was awesome having you on, man. If you ever want to come back on, our doors are wide open.
Well, right on. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, definitely go check out Brian Kemble and Summer Kemble wherever they plugged. It's great people to follow, like-minded gearheads that actually have a good attitude about cars. So with that being said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. That's it.
Pretty good, actually. So, hang on, wait.
So you're going to hear a little bit of an echo. We just recorded a whole segment, and our new mics, they unfortunately died. We're still messing with them. We just got them in last week. So I didn't want to cheat you guys out of a tech talk. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it to Jordan for a distributor lesson here.
So what is a distributor? We'll just go over the basics here. A distributor is a device driven off of your camshaft that sends spark to a coil. Well, from a coil to a point.
So that's why the camshaft at the end has those splines, because they mate directly up into there.
Spins, and then as it spins, there is points inside of your distributor that this rotor tip will contact. It spins around, contacts, and then you also have your mechanical advance here. I'll try and show this to you. As it spins about 2,000 RPM, it starts off slightly retarded, but as the engine spins, it'll slightly open to about normal timing. I don't really know exactly where it will start. I know it starts slightly retarded, but as you get higher RPM, the more these weights come out, and it will advance this rotor cap. And you can get different weights. You can get heavier or lighter weights. So there's that. But basically, your distributor drives spark to your spark plugs. That's its job. And you also have vacuum here. Some have vacuum advance. I'm not actually sure what this one goes to. Looks like it goes to the rotor here. I'm not sure if it also has vacuum advance with the... I guess it's all vacuum advance on this one, actually. Never mind. But, so, also timing your distributor. Some people find that tricky. Well, the easiest way, I think, to find timing on it is put your engine top dead center on cylinder 1. And then what you want to do is you'll have your rotor pointing on here to your cap. And wherever it's pointing, you'll start on here. The spot it's pointing at, the contact point, whichever one it correlates to for which spark plug, you just start that spark plug at cylinder 1. That's how I've always done it. It's easiest for me. There's different methods, and if you really want to know, YouTube has some really great videos, but that's pretty much the basics of a distributor. There's different types. There's points, HEI. You don't really see points anymore unless people are restoring cars. It's really kind of outdated. And a lot of people now don't even, on LSs you can get distributors, but it just seems like more and more people are going away from distributors. Unless you're big block maybe, but even then, some of them guys aren't even running distributors.
I was kind of shocked to hear that Cookie was going to stay mechanical on a LS3.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe he's going to do that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money too, I don't really see the advantage to it. I can see going carbureted still,
Yeah.
But when it comes to newer engines, there's obviously a reason we don't run distributors. They're outdated. Why rely on vacuum and weights when you can have a computer time it for you, which will be way more accurate and no part failures, obviously, unless you have a computer fail. So there's that. These are pretty basic. If you want to get one, they're pretty cheap, but...
Yeah, it depends on the brand. If you get MSD, they can start getting close to like the $1,000 range for like a kit. Yeah, for like the coil, everything. Which mine's HEI, so it's got the coil on top. But if you get like the
ignition box.
Yeah, I think it's a 2A ignition box or whatever. It starts getting pretty pricey whenever you start.
Ignition boxes are nice. I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah,
they get a lot more control.
Right, yeah. I mean, that one I had a lot of trouble out of. It's just cheap. That's why we're kind of just using it as a prop. I replaced it.
For a cheaper one, it really isn't that bad. But.
Yeah, I think my main way I messed it up was I didn't have all the prongs locked down, and that one is just like, they just weren't grabbing so good, and the cap would pop off, and then that's what was causing me not to not getting sparked off all my cylinders. So that's kind of why I jumped to that one, is I had so many issues out of it. So that's the main thing I will say. Those caps are just so cheap, and it don't really matter what brand you buy. They're still a plastic cap.
Yeah, they do all the same thing. Yeah, that's kind of why it's outdated technology. There's just better ways of going about ignition now.
Yeah, and too, like especially like a GM motor, you have like the distributors back there against the firewall.
Yeah, it's just so hard to get to.
Not only that, but like if you get into an accident or anything like that, cap's gonna bust on that firewall.
Good luck driving away after that,
Yeah.
You get a Ford, you might drive away.
Yeah, that distributor in the front.
I'll give Fords that.
Yeah, I hate distributors with the spot they're in on GM. It sucks. Like you almost have to knock your firewall.
And as easy as LS swaps are, I'm not running a distributor engine. There's a reason that technology is fading away. It's cool to see still, don't get me wrong. I like old flat tap pit cars, you know.
Yeah.
It's definitely primitive technology now, if you think about it. I wouldn't say primitive, but it's just, it's getting dated. It's old school for sure. It's been around since the start of engines.
Yeah. I mean, now you got port injection, you got direct injection. I mean, even
direct injection's really the future now.
Yeah, I mean, port injection is going to start fading up before you know it. You know, with the direct injection.
Direct injection, high compression, you're getting more mileage that way, and that's why so many manufacturers are doing that even on economy cars.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You see these performance parts on economy cars, like my wife's car has a turbo. Like, it's so crazy to see stuff like that.
That's more for the efficiency of
you're giving it air that could be, you know, instead of it being wasted, is being reused.
That wouldn't be volumetric efficiency because it's not actually the engine's efficiency, but it is reusing exhaust gas to generate.
We recycle around here.
Yeah, we're recycling. That's why Boost is forever.
Boost is forever.
That's right.
Well, I guess we'll throw it to an outro. Hopefully some of this got chopped up right. I'll do my best. But with that being said, you guys, we'll see you in the next one. You're not going to want to miss it. Have a big guest next time. I believe it's going to be right. So just be looking out for that. And we'll see you guys in the next one.